Sup, bros? My name is Schnars, and I could just copy everyone else and say that you should know me by now since I've been your classmate since like forever, but I'm not gonna do that, even though I kinda just did that, but whatever, it's fine. So I'm here today to tell you about the author Stephen Crane and his story, The Open Boat. Stephen Crane was born on November 1st, 1871 in Newark, New Jersey. He died June 5th, 1900 at the age of 28 due to tuberculosis in Germany. He was the youngest of 14 siblings. He went to prep school and attended Lafayette College and Syracuse University. After college, he moved to Paterson, New Jersey with one of his brothers and would frequently travel back and forth between there and New York City. During those trips, he would write things about his experiences in New York City, and he ended up working for the New York Tribune. He began writing war stories and was very interested in combat and death. This fascination sent him to Greece and Cuba as a war correspondent. His very first report on the insurrection in Cuba ended badly. He was traveling on a ship with tons of ammunition and it sank. Crane was reported dead from drowning, but he ended up rowing to shore in a dinghy with the captain, cook, and oiler. This resulted in the writing of The Open Boat. The story begins with the four men trying to keep the dinghy afloat in some rough waters just off the coast of Florida. The correspondent and the oiler were rowing while the cook was on the floor keeping water out. The cook and the correspondent were arguing over everything that had happened, and once they finally stopped, everyone was just quiet. Then a gull lands on the captain's head, and the men see this as an insulting gesture. But if the captain tries to swat the bird away, it could cause the boat to sink. They keep rowing, and they finally see the lighthouse in the distance. The cook said that the life-saving station had been abandoned for about a year, but the men were just happy to see land. To celebrate, the correspondent pulls out some cigars he happened to have in his pocket and shared them with everyone. They struggled to get to shore, but then they saw a man, then two men, and then one huge crowd. They think that help is on the way. The men are getting tired and are struggling to keep the boat up and are losing hope because the waves are so bad. One morning, the captain makes the decision to try and swim while they still have enough energy to do so. The waves were very big this day and almost killed the correspondent, but he was saved by a man. When he finally gained full consciousness on the shore, he sees a huge crowd of people and learns that the captain and the cook survived, but the oiler passed away. This story involves a lot of conflict, especially between the man and the sea. The sea is basically its own character in this story. It was rough to the men and was taunting the men throughout the whole entire journey. Crane liked to write stories with the theme of man versus nature. This story is one of his most involved pieces using the theme. Nature in this story is elemental forces like the sea and the big waves and a man's instinct, like the hope that they were losing and what they should do. Another theme that is in the story was also to never give up. The men could have just given up and drowned, but they kept going to try and find the help that they needed. This story is showing us the daily fight that people can have between nature and themselves and to never give up even in those situations when you think there's no hope. Thank you.